get so excited when I get to hear that music, that intro, all that gold, that yellow. It just brings out the sun, the one son. We love you, son. Jesus. So again, we thank you, Lord, for this day, God. Thank you for each and every person who rocks with us, who listen to this podcast. So we thank you so much from the bottom of our heart for taking time out of your day, liking, subscribing, and following us. We are so excited. We cannot do this without you. So again, we always want to start off with giving you your roses. So this year, our goal is Dr. Miles Monroe. Oh, I love Dr. Miles Monroe. He is in heaven, but his work that he's done is still making an impact, and which I love it so much, because one of his quotes is that you was born in the world to make an impact, to make a difference. So every day that we're here, we are on assignment. So we need to make sure that we're tapping into that assignment, tapping into that purpose. God doesn't waste anything. He has a purpose for each and every day that you're above ground. So make sure you are connecting with the creator of the universe so you can know your purpose and make sure that you're here impacting around your circle of influence, friends, whoever you come in contact with. So yeah, we always want to start off with that. Yay! So we have an amazing guest who's on the show today. Oh, I have sound effects. So I keep forgetting that StreamYard gave us sound effects. So round of applause! You know, it's got to be crazy. I forgot to tell you, you've been knowing me since 5th grade. You know, it's got to be a little cray. So this is how we do it over here in these parks in the dumping ground. But again, we're super excited for this woman of God who is, again, okay, I got my tissue because I said I wasn't going to cry, but I just in case, I did bring it. Aisha Adams. I've been knowing this lady. Oh my God, I can't even think back, like how crazy. And our relationship is so funny because like we don't never ever have to talk. And then when we talk, it's like we never ever stop talking. And if you have one of those type of relationship, you know, it's amazing that you can have good friends from growing up with them, and you don't have to, you know, be talking on the phone all the time, but you got that love and that uniqueness. And she has such a great heart. I mean, like, man, she's such a sweet friend. If you want a sweet friend, make sure you get you some sweet friends who will pray with you, stand with you, and be like, girl, you wrong. Like, hold you accountable. You wrong. You know you wrong. You know you're wrong. You know what I'm saying? You need to make sure you get a type of friend like Aisha. Aisha, listen, friend. I know one time I told your mama, and I need to apologize to you that I was gonna put you down. I had got in my feelings. I had saw your mama and your daddy in Mississippi, and I said, Miss Neighbors, I'm gonna put Aisha down. You know what she said? Don't put her down. Can she give her one more time? Give her one more time. I was like, you know what, Ms. Neighbors, you're absolutely correct. I am going to give her one more time. You know, I just think sometimes, you know, life be lifing, but you know, your friends are your friends, and she's truly a dear friend, Aisha Neighbors. So Aisha Neighbors Adams is my guest tonight, and I'm so grateful for her. Like, I had to give all the little, you know, the little behind the scenes type of situation and stuff. So, yay, Aisha! Round of applause. You're already over me. You're like, here she goes.
Oh my God.
Aisha,
well, thank you for the introduction.
Yes, I had to publicly apologize for saying I was gonna put you down, friend. I was not gonna put you down, friend. I just think my feelings were hurt because I couldn't get to you, friend. You know, I was like, she lives in Atlanta, and I live in Atlanta, and all this stuff and all that stuff. But it's all
well,
good.
you know, we both had families, so you know, it just comes a time. Like, you know, you can be friends with someone for a long period of time. It doesn't mean that we have to hang out all the time, you know?
Yeah, that's so true.
We've been friends for almost 40 years. So that's saying something. That's saying something all in itself. So you can put me down if you want to. I'll just keep showing up. That's what we
Listen,
do.
listen, people are out here showing up for you, friend. They are putting comments, everything. They're saying good afternoon. They're so
Hello.
excited to hear your story. I know your story, and um we have prayed. Our prayer
We
team
have.
has prayed for you, and I know at some points the time got a little dark, but
The
you are,
time got very dark.
yeah,
And sometimes it still does get very
yeah,
dark.
yeah,
But you just have to keep pushing. You have to keep trusting. You have
yeah,
to, like, God shows up for me. So I have to keep showing up for him, if that
yeah,
makes sense.
yeah. It makes a
So
lot of
don't
sense.
get me in my feelings before I get it out.
Sorry. I said, I told you. Listen, I already told you I went and got my tissue. You know what I said? Because I already know it's about to be. I already know it's about to be one of those moments where God is getting a victory in your life because no one wanted to go through that test. No one signs up for the test.
Mm-mm.
I said no one signs up for the test. We just want the monies that comes after the test, like testimonies. You just want the monies that comes
You
after
do.
it.
But then at the same time, one of the things that I kept saying was like, I only told certain people when I was diagnosed, and those are people that I wanted to walk with me. Like, everybody can't pray for you, even
Yeah,
though like people can say, you can jump on social media, you can say all the things, but everybody can't pray for you because you don't know what they're really saying to you, and what they're saying about you or how they're praying for you. So it was one of those things where I just wanted um people to know, not everybody, but just people to know who I knew would come forth and pray with me. I know, like, after I actually came out with it on Facebook and, like, shared my testimony just a little bit on Facebook, whatever I could get on Facebook that day, a lot of people were just saying I didn't know. And it
yeah,
wasn't anything, it wasn't me trying to be ugly. It was a hard space to be in. You
yeah.
find out and then you just cry and cry and cry. Then you ask why me? And then you
Hmm.
hear why not me?
Yeah,
And then you just have to keep walking the walk. And it was so many people like that just stood in the gap for me. Um, my family,
yes.
my husband is 100% down for me no matter what.
Hers is down like four flat
My
tires.
my kids,
Yes,
my sisters, my mom, my dad,
yes,
my cousins, like,
yes.
just like, okay, what do you need? Like
Yeah.
one of my cousins, and he probably doesn't want me to mention this, but like literally showed up just one day out of the blue. We're sitting there. I was talking to him because I was getting ready to go to an appointment, and this is during the time that I had first found out. So I was getting biopsied and all of that stuff, and he just showed up at my door, and I just like it's times like that you just like, oh, when
Mhm.
I was diagnosed and they actually said that it was stage 4, because like it was pretty fast. Like the
Yeah.
diagnosis, when I got in with the oncologist, my sister drove here to see me, did a turnaround trip, just landed at the door. She had to lay eyes on me. She had to pray for me. She had to lay hands on me. She had to she had to put oil on me, and she had to tell me how small I had gotten.
Mhm.
But at the same time, it's a big diagnosis to get.
Yeah.
I actually went in for a colonoscopy simply because my iron was low. And that's how my testimony starts. My iron was low, didn't know what was going on. I actually thought I was having some woman problems, to be honest. And so
Yes.
they tell you iron low, all of a sudden you start taking all these vitamins, start trying to find stuff. I was getting smaller, like
Mhm.
lost 40 pounds, like a
Mhm.
ridiculous amount of weight. And and then my endocrinologist was like, hey, have you ever had a colonoscopy? And
Mhm.
I was like, no. But I did that little thing where, I had to poke the feces, I'm just talking to her
Mhm.
about it. And she was like, and we went back and forth for a little bit. And she was like, no, I want you to get a colonoscopy. Well, the thing about it is, my colonoscopy was actually scheduled for August. And I pushed it back a week because my husband went out of town. And the actual day that I got the colonoscopy was the day of, like, I work down here in the school district where
Mhm.
they, like, the trial is on right now, like
Mhm.
all the
Yes.
things. And it
Mhm.
was the actual day of the shooting.
Mm.
Well, a lot of, like, I didn't know what was going on because I was on the table, and
Mhm.
in the wake of all that was going on, I got the news that, Miss Adams, are you awake?
Yeah.
And I thought I was just gonna go home and take a good nap, go back to work the
Mhm.
next day. And it was like, Miss Adams, are you awake? And I remember, being a little groggy, and I wasn't really awake. But then he said, Miss Adams, can you hear me? And I told him I could. And he said, Miss Adams, you have colon cancer. And
Mhm.
that's like exactly what was said. He was like, I've already called over to my office. I've called over. I've scheduled you an appointment. They're supposed to call you and let you know when you are going to see your oncologist. Well, I came home because we're trying to process the information because, of course, my husband was with me. How are we going to tell the kids? How are we going to
Mhm.
tell my parents? I
Yeah.
mean, my sister died 6 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, it was hard for
Mhm.
all of us, but
Yeah.
really hard for me. If you know me,
Mhm.
then you know
Yeah.
that Tammy was with
It's
me
your
every
baby.
step of the way,
Yes.
100%. And
Yes.
so, I mean, out here in Georgia, because I live here, she
Mhm.
came out here to be with me. And so, when we lost her, my parents were in Mississippi. How do
Mhm.
you tell your parents, your mom and your dad, that, hey, I have cancer, and they've
Mhm.
already lost a daughter?
Mhm.
Um, that being said, I called my sisters when I got
Mhm.
home. I
Mhm.
FaceTimed them, and I lost it because I know
Yeah.
I can. I can always lose it with the two of them. They
Yes.
answered the FaceTime, and what's wrong? What's going on? And I
Mhm.
told them what was happening, and immediately it was okay, okay,
Mhm.
okay. We're gonna pray.
Mhm.
We all prayed together. We were on FaceTime. And then I called my mom. Well, I cried with my sisters, but then, when I called my mom and daddy, you put on the
Yeah.
strong front. And
Yeah.
and my daddy got on the phone and he talked to me. He was like, everything's going to be okay, Pumpkin. We're
Yeah.
praying. It's like, what do you need me to do? I can
Yeah.
come there. And I'm like, no, don't come yet. I don't have answers. Like, I don't know,
Mhm.
like, what's going on. Um, 2 days, fast forward 2 days, because we were out of school because of the shooting. So they canceled school for for the county. So we were out. So it just so happened like that Friday, I got in with my oncologist, and they had already sent me to do the blood work and stuff the next
Mhm.
day. And then I got in with the oncologist that Friday. And we're thinking, well, it can't be that far along because, if you ask me, I didn't have any symptoms.
Yeah.
And so I basically got in there. She goes over everything. She tells me where the spots are. There was, so my colon spot was, my tumor was 15 centimeters. They said I was near obstruction. They asked me, had I been feeling some type of way? I had not. I can remember twice that my stomach hurt, and I just thought it was like, something I ate because we're getting older. So you just
Mhm.
like, well, it has to be something I ate, but it
Mhm.
wasn't that type of situation. And so it was pretty big. And I also had a spot on my liver, spot in my lungs. And she was like, "You're young, you're strong. We're speaking that we're gonna cure you."
Absolutely.
And that's, I mean, that's what she said the whole entire time. Of course, me and my husband were devastated.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we go down to get ready to check out. One of the nurses comes from the back and it's like, your doctor wants to see you again. And I'm like, oh gosh, so we go back in the room where she's with another patient.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a patient that had the same diagnosis as me that was standing in front of me, cancer free, and had
My,
been cancer free for 9 years.
oh
And she
my,
said that she called me back because she just wanted to give me hope.
yeah.
When we think about, like he talked to me, and one of the things he said to me was to fight and pray, fight
Mm-hmm.
and pray. I mean, he really didn't have to tell me that. We was already praying, but it
Yes,
was
yeah,
good for somebody to say,
yeah,
like fight and
yeah.
pray, like this can be done.
Yeah.
So left there, still hadn't told my children, but then like when I got home, that was when my sister showed up and prayed with me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but like having to tell my school
Mm-hmm.
because it was just gonna be it was going to be a lot going on. I
Mm-hmm.
couldn't be in the classroom like I wanted to be in the classroom. But my doctor did not want me to like just basically come
Stop.
home because it was like I needed to have something to live for. I needed to have a purpose every day.
Mm-hmm.
Um, when they started the process of the biopsy, so I'm gonna go forward a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But when they
Mm-hmm.
started the process of the biopsies, they biopsied my lung, and of course, it came back cancer. Like there was cancer there, like it was a cancer spot. But then, miracle of all miracles, they biopsied my liver the first time, and it came back non-cancerous. It was hard for me to get anybody to, like tell me what was going on because
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that my doctor was going to call me back and tell me that they wanted me to go back in because it came back non-cancerous. One of the things she said was that, the science behind it, like, basically they didn't know what was going on. The thing I said every single visit when all this stuff was dropping away from me was, I trust God.
Amen.
Eventually, it begins to take, like, other people begin to trust him too, if you
Mm-hmm.
trust him wholeheartedly. And I
Mm-hmm.
remember sitting in the office and I was trying to, she was like, well, the problem is, and I'm like, the problem, because there's no problem. The problem is, like, we don't know what's going on. So they sent me back for another biopsy the next week. And I went in with this biopsy, went in the next week, and they did it again. And he took a lot more than he normally would have taken because he wanted to make sure he got it right. It came back again, non-cancerous. So
Mm-hmm.
that spot was just done. One of the things I can say though is my sister at the time, like, had been in prayer with me, had gotten a word, and she called to share it with me. And
Mm-hmm.
she was talking about in the Bible, and I believe it's in Kings, but where this man goes into a room, the lady's son, he's died. He goes into the room, he lays with the child doesn't get up, he walks out, goes back into the room, lays with the child, breathes on him basically. And then the child is alive and he tells the mom to go in and get her son, right? And my sister called and she said, I heard to tell you this. And she was like, I got this like directly after, like pretty much right after I had gotten diagnosed, right? But it took her 2 weeks to tell me. Okay. So she was like, I don't know why I didn't tell you. She said, but um, I got this message for you 2 weeks ago. She said, she said, what I saw, she said, I saw an angel lay on your bed, hand to hand, mouth to mouth, and you were healed. And she
Mm,
was like, you just have to walk it out. You just have to walk it out. And I remember being grateful because
mm,
you don't know. We are by, like, she's not a doctor. She's not,
mhm.
but she is a woman of God.
Yeah.
We all are. And you know
Mhm,
that. But at the same time, it was, um, was it too good to be true? The devil tries to play with you, especially when you're in that situation. And it
mhm,
was kind of like, okay, I hear you. And then I go in, and that's when they're just like, well, it's coming back, but you got to go do this biopsy again. It's saying this, but you got to do this biopsy again. So we did the biopsy, and then it keeps saying it. So then 10 days later, after I saw my oncologist, I started chemo. Um, what I can say is that I met some of the best people, some of the best people that you could ever imagine walking with or just being there for you. During the time that I started chemo, like a good friend of ours died, and from colon cancer to be exact. Um, and I'm sitting there getting chemo. My husband and my children just, when we finally told them, my daughter like cried because she was really close to my sister, close to
sister.
Tammy,
Mhm,
and her thing was people keep leaving her. But then
mhm,
my son was like, I believe that you're going
mhm,
to be okay. I trust God because those are the things that I've always taught him. And he's an avid believer, prays all the time. And
mhm,
so that's what he always did. But when I did my first round of chemo, because I went through 12 rounds. When I did my first round of chemo, I remember like, getting the chemo and you don't really know like how it's supposed to feel.
mhm,
They do all this stuff, you're there pretty much all day, like because you have to go through all the channels, then you have to get in the chair, then they have to start something else before they actually start the chemo. And then you come home with chemo, like a chemo bag, and you wear it for 46 more hours. And then you go back and you get disconnected from the chemo, get flushed out, and then 2 weeks later, you're back at it doing it again, right? The first day I got home, um, my daughter, she's in all this stuff. She does everything.
mhm.
And so, and so, it came down to, my husband is now stepping into my shoes, running
Absolutely.
with the children.
Yep.
It's a lot. It's a
Mhm,
lot.
mhm.
But he did it like a champ and they like worked it out.
Yeah.
But um, I remember my husband asking my son if he wanted to go with him so he could go pick up my daughter, and he was like, "No, I'm gonna stay here and watch mommy."
Mm,
So every time I had a round of chemo, on the other side of my bed was my son just sitting there like just staring at me. Like I wake up and he'll just like be looking at me. You okay, mommy?
oh my
And
God, that's
so
him.
I mean, it's so sweet, it's sweet. But at the same time, like you just keep going through the motion. And it
Mhm,
seemed like, at first, like, with the chemo treatments, it was like, I'm okay, I can do this. But
mhm,
then like you get to the end of it, like after that 46 hours, like 48 full hours, and you get to the end of it and you're just like, gosh, I'm worn out. Um, in the process, I lost hair. I lost my eyebrows.
mhm.
I lost my eyelashes. I'm still growing back hair, and
That's
it's
okay.
okay.
Friend, listen. I told you We can buy lashes, we can draw on eyebrows, and we can buy hair. You alive. So that stuff is,
Hmm.
I know because we women and that's, but girl, we
But it's still a place of, how can I
absolutely.
put it? It's still a place of like, you never really realize how much you like depend on that stuff or expect it to be, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
I was told that I wasn't supposed to lose my hair like that. But
Mm,
I mean, and it didn't like when I talk about losing it, it just, I mean, it thinned out for me, you know?
mhm.
Um, it was one of those situations too, like, my hands were hurting all the time.
Yeah.
Um, my feet were hurting all the time. I was discolored.
Yeah.
My I had I mean, like, you look in the mirror, like, I look back at some pictures now and I'm like, y'all let me walk around looking like this, going places. But it was who I was at that time, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
Um, I've learned a lot about myself through the
Mhm.
process. I've learned what's important and what's
Mhm.
not important. For me, when I went to work, it was the acceptance. My
Mhm.
kids at school did not know that I had cancer. They didn't
Mhm.
know, but
Mhm.
they knew I was sick.
Yeah. Yeah.
When I showed up, it was the cheering when I walked into the classroom.
Yeah.
Like, oh, she here today. Thank goodness, Miss Adams. So glad to see you because we sick of them subs. But but it was just sweet
Oh my
because you
god.
can get them to do whatever you need them to do.
Yeah.
Um, I remember I remember a time just getting tired. I did 7 treatments of chemo before I actually went in to have surgery. Um, I have 6 slashes on my body from this surgery that I had. They went in by the time I actually got to surgery. My lung spot had disappeared. The
Yes.
liver spot was no more. And my tumor in my colon was at 4.5 centimeters. So from 15 to 4.5. They
Yes.
thought at one point that it was going to be that it was 2 tumors. There was only one. Um, and they thought that they were going to have to take out 2 sections of my colon, and it ended up only being 1 section of my colon. I'm I'm completely grateful. Seven 7 treatments, and then I was in surgery. When I got finished, I had recovery, and then I started treatments again. I started the last 5 in February of last year. Um, I rung the bell on April 23rd. It was
Yeah.
my last treatment. But I am going to say, when I got to treatment number 11 and treatment number 12, even though I had gone through all of that and had already been declared cancer free, because when they took it out in January, they said I was cancer free, but my oncologist wanted me to continue my treatment plan. So imagine like the chemo attacking a healthy body versus attacking the actual cancer. And so, therefore, I was feeling things that I wasn't feeling before. I was
Mhm.
hurting everywhere. Um, when I think of it, like, I mean, I had to go in, I mean, immediately, like, after everything was over, I had to get wisdoms removed, like everything, because it was affecting everything, like how you eat, what you can put in your mouth. Like to this day, like my family can tell you, like anybody that knows me, I'm cold all the time anyway. You're rarely going to see me without a jacket on. um and I'm the one that's freezing when everybody else is hot.
Mhm.
But now it's like 10 times worse because some of the things just don't like, it doesn't leave you. It's
Mhm.
just one of the things, it's just one of my battle scars. I just
Mhm.
live with it.
Yeah.
Um I can say that on April 23rd, when I rang the bell, it was probably the most exhausted I've been. But on that day as well, when I woke up, I remember waking up and I was in prayer. And I said, you know what, God, I don't know if I can do this anymore. And I heard clear as day, it is finished. It
Mm.
is finished. And I said, okay, okay. I can tell you that um, every MRI, every CT scan has come back with no evidence of disease since then. I'm grateful. I don't know any other way to put it except for I'm simply grateful. I'm thankful for the new bond that I have with my family. We were already close, but we are all closer. Um, I'm grateful for the lives that I can touch every single day.
Mm.
Have I ever shared my testimony at school? I have not, because it's a sore spot for me, and for me personally, I teach middle school. I just don't feel like crying in front of the kids, because it's something. But I will share my testimony with every teacher that I come into contact with. I started a new job this year, and I was very upfront about it. My principal was very supportive. Um, he lets me be who I am, and if I need a day or if I need the time, he encourages me to take it. And for that, I am grateful.
Mm.
Um, I can say that it's not been like, it's been a battle, because
Mhm.
it's a battle. It's a battle every day. I don't have the energy that I used to have, but I
Mhm.
can tell you, because we just talked about this, I work out.
Every day. You've been doing it your whole life.
But also, one of the things too is that, like when I was going through chemo, I actually went to go see an oncology PT. So they like gave me a plan. And so every day that I was not on chemo, I was working out. You know that my husband is in the fitness industry. And so every day he's like peeking around the corner, like,
What you
you
doing?
got your workout done. You got your workout done. And I remember it was a couple of times I was like, I don't want to. So I'm like pouting, coming up here. And he was like, it doesn't matter. If you just walk on the treadmill, babe, it's gonna be okay. And I'm just like, because I ain't want to do it. But I know it's what's best for me.
Yeah.
Now, working out, I mean, I ain't do no workout today. But I'm gonna have to make up for that. But it is
Yeah.
what's best for me. It's
Yeah.
what I need to do.
Yeah.
Um, have I had some setbacks? You always have setbacks. You always think about the what ifs. I
Mm-hmm.
have to keep reminding myself that on April 23rd, 2025,
It
when
is
I
finished.
woke up and I said my prayer, God said, it is finished. And I believe him.
Mm-hmm.
What
God.
I can say is that, because now I'm gonna start, I might tear up a little bit,
It's
but
okay.
I'm just grateful.
Yeah.
I'm simply grateful to be able to tell my story, to be able to live to tell my story.
Yeah.
One of my friends, and I'm not going to call his name, but you will probably know who I'm talking about.
Well, I'm sure I
He,
know.
he had cancer. He had cancer as well. So when he came out with his testimony and he told us about it, like, on Facebook, I remember saying, I I did reach out to him, because when you know that somebody has been through the same exact thing, it helps that they hear your story, because they actually know what's going on. And I
Mm-hmm.
told him my story, and I remember him calling me and saying to me, like, why haven't you shared your story? And this was actually before I shared at the 1 year mark of when I was diagnosed. But I told him, I said, because I don't like everybody in my business. And he said, well, This is not just your business. This is God's business.
Wow.
And I said, I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. But for me, at that point, it was my business. But is it really just my business? And I, in that conversation, it was kind of like, how do you have a testimony this big and you don't share it with people? And I told him, okay, I'll think about it. That was about a week before I shared it. And when I shared it, I tagged him in my post. But but it was one of those things like, just like that's also a time that we like connected. So like
Mm-hmm.
when he has his scans, he'll
Mm-hmm.
like let me know like, hey, it came back and there was no evidence of disease and vice versa. Like, it's just good to be able to share that.
Yeah.
Um, I can say that things are not 100%
Mm-hmm.
like, with me, because
Mm-hmm.
I'm still not even 1 year past
Mm-hmm.
chemo,
Yeah.
but I get up every day. I put one foot in front of the other.
Yeah.
And I thank God that I'm here, even without at the time, because my eyebrows clearly came back. My eyelashes, not so much, but I never really had any like that. But even though you have like those physical reminders, it's also one of those things that I'm reminded every day that God spared me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to always tell my story. I'm going to always bless whomever I can bless, especially with this situation. One of the things I'm going to say, because, one of the reasons why it wasn't caught with me, they changed the age to 45 to get a
Mm-hmm.
colonoscopy.
Yep.
I was already past 45 when this
Mm-hmm.
happened. I was 47 when I was diagnosed. Um, I'm now 48. And it's one of those things where if you haven't gotten your colonoscopy, go get one.
Yeah.
Because I thought, oh, it's just whatever I ate, you know. I had a whole episode like the November before because I went to the doctor because my stomach was hurting so bad. And they told
Mm-hmm.
me it was food poisoning, probably.
Mm-hmm.
And then the March before I found out, my stomach was hurting really bad. And I didn't even know where it came from. But I thought it was like one of those cases, like, looking back over it, trying to figure out like what I ate. Um, I'm active with my kids, so I'm always everywhere all the
Right.
time.
Right. Right.
But I was really tired too. That was another thing. Really fatigued. Um, and just thought, ooh, I'm just so tired. I just need to get somewhere and sit down. But I was never sitting down. And with the way that things are now, I take the time. I sit down. I do the things I'm supposed to do. If I feel a certain way, I pay attention to that. I will say to every person that is our age, if you haven't had a colonoscopy, please get one because it can save your life.
Mm-hmm.
The good part about it is in December of last year, I had a colonoscopy and I was really tired of going through that prep. That was stuff like
Yes.
fourth prep.
Powerful.
I was sick of it. But I had a prep. I had a colonoscopy in December because, I had to get one done. And the same doctor that diagnosed me September the 4th of 2024 was the same doctor that came to me this time and said to me, all is well,
Oh my God.
full circle. And it was so good, like to hear it come from his lips
Mm-hmm.
out of all people, because he was the one that said, Miss Adams, you have colon cancer. And for him to tell me that he found nothing, it was music to my ears. So that's my story.
Listen, I remember for some reason, sometimes God drop names in your spirit to check on, or or it'll come across your mind, whatever. And I was washing dishes and it was like, oh man, I haven't talked to Aisha. I wonder how she's doing. And when I called you and you laid that on me, I was like, what in the world? Like it was like a ton of bricks like had fell on my chest. Because I'm like, wait a minute, God, like they just lost their sister. like, like, like what? Like they're already trying to recover from like Tammy. Tammy was like your baby. You know what I'm saying? Like she was like, you know what I'm saying? Like the
And to
older
be
boy.
honest, like we will never recover.
Absolutely.
We will always just cope. It's a
Absolutely.
huge loss. It's a huge loss. I
Yes.
mean, my parents, like my dad is 82. He just turned 82 last week.
Happy
And
birthday.
my mom is 76, and to have lost a child 6 years ago, like they still visit like her, like on a regular,
Yeah.
still visit like the grave and all the stuff, and um it's huge. But one of the things too, when I started telling my daddy about the spots that were dropping away from me, to
Mm-hmm.
hear him cry
Mm.
about
That's
the situation and just say, I just prayed and I asked God to please not take my baby.
I know.
It was like to hear my mom like always trying to be strong because she's gonna be strong, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, to hear my husband
Mm-hmm.
think that he's going to lose me, it has strengthened us, to be honest. We've always stood strong. We've stood strong now for years, but we are stronger in him.
Man, I
And
promise, friend. Like I said, I would never forget that call. And
mhm,
immediately I put your name. We have a Thursday prayer call. I think at that time we probably were doing it at 1 and 3. And I was like, I need y'all to pray for my friend. Like, I need you to pray. Like, we need to stand in the gap for my friend because she just got I think at that time you were probably going through the biopsies and trying to figure out what stage and all that stuff.
mhm,
And I'm just like, what? And you told me that they had seen it on your lungs and how God miraculously healed your lung. I was just like, thank you, Lord. Now I need a miraculous is on this colon. I'm
well,
grateful that
listen,
you have
they just
removed.
took it.
Yes, I'm like, I'm so grateful that you have touched her lungs and her liver. Please touch that colon.
And I'm gonna tell you too, my sister, Dion, was like, she was like, I just want to know. This had to be like this was November because they were all here
Mhm.
for Thanksgiving. I just want to know, when are they getting this cancer out of you? Like we keep hearing about, the spot's gone, you're going to get chemo. When are they taking it out?
Oh my God. Oh
And
my
I
God.
was I was just like, well, I mean, we'll get there.
We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there.
And then I
Man.
had an appointment in December, like with the liver specialist that I had been
Hmm.
seeing over in Gainesville.
Hmm.
I love him, by the way. His name is
Hmm.
Dr. Terrence Jackson. Absolutely amazing. First time I met him, he literally took out this big sticky note, which is, I'm a teacher.
It's your thing, teacher.
Took out a sticky note, hung it up, drew out everything, talked about everything. Our appointment was at least an hour and 45 minutes with him just explaining all the things, what he would do, option A, option B, and this is what you need to do to prepare for the surgery. So when I saw him in December, like after I had seen him initially, when I saw him in December, he was like, well, let's see, let's get you on the books
Mm-hmm.
to, get your surgery done. And like he had another doctor, Dr. Isanana, that came in and did the colon part of the surgery. So I had to go to his office and see him as well. But he literally was like, we're going to take care of you. The first time I met him, he walks in, he walks over to me and he's like, I'm so sorry this has happened to you. I've been praying for you. I immediately knew,
Yeah.
okay. He took time with me.
Yeah.
He answered questions and he made sure that I blew up a balloon 100 times every single night after surgery and to prepare for surgery because I needed
You
to
make,
be strong.
yeah.
Um,
Man,
I, I can't even tell you, I can't tell you enough, like, how God just moved in and put my
Mhm.
team together, my team of people that fought for me because nobody that was on my team couldn't be not fighting for me. They
Yeah.
had to fight for me. They had to believe in me.
Mm.
And the way that he pulled them together so fast, it was
Mm.
amazing. It was
Man.
amazing. I can tell you that it took a little while. I
Mm-hmm.
remember too, like when I was talking, when my sister first like sent like the stuff about like the little boy in the bed and all this stuff, the
Mm-hmm.
angel laying on my bed,
Hmm.
you
Right.
know, um, she said, like there was like 7 in there where he was like sneezing, right? And we couldn't figure out if I was gonna be with this thing for 7 years, 7 weeks, 7 months. We didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Ironically, right after that, me over here sneezing. And I was like, wait a minute. What did you just do to me? So just sneezing away, right? And one of the things she kept texting me, because I would say, I'm still sneezing. And it was always this inside thing, keep sneezing. You know, I can tell you that it was 7 months.
Man.
It was 7 months.
Man.
And the way God works, I think we all can take heed and understand that He is God.
Yeah.
He is God. And when He
Yeah.
works on your behalf, He works on your behalf. There are so many things to see, so
Mm.
many reasons to believe. But when you get your own testimony, it's that much sweeter.
Man. Aisha, I'm telling you, man, I'm just so thankful that, you have this. I know that, like we were talking about in the green room, the press, nobody wants the press. The press does not feel good. The pruning does not feel good. The test does not feel good. But the good thing that I like about it is we don't have to do this thing by ourselves. You had a host of heaven along with, like you say, your family and selective people that you needed in your corner to pray you to continue to pray for you when your faith got a little weakened. They're like, hey, we kick it in gear. You know what I'm saying? And you only wanted. I remember you said.
What did I say?
Somebody had you on the sick and shut in list at the church.
My daddy. My daddy. And I was just like, why am I on that list? So I even went so far as to call the secretary back at home and say, hey, I don't need to be on the list. She said, your name is going on this list. Your daddy said to put your name on this list, and I'm
Ooh,
not taking your name off the list until your daddy
ooh,
says to get the name off the list.
oh my
Listen,
God.
I had already finished chemo and everything before they took my name off that list.
Oh God, Aisha, that made me laugh so hard.
And
You
I
said
was not shut in.
that's what I said. I said he got you on the sick and shut in friend.
He
Ooh,
did.
girl,
He did.
that's that one right there made me laugh so hard. For I was like, boy, man, your dad was like, hey, we praying for my baby.
He did. And he told who he wanted to tell, and he got their prayers for him. But
Yes, I
you,
love
I
it.
mean, you gotta love him. I was just
I
like,
love
don't
it.
put my
I love
name
it.
down. I said, because it's gonna make people wonder,
Yes.
like
Yeah.
what's
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, like,
Baby,
but
he didn't care about that, honey. It was like,
no,
put that baby name there. And the
it was
funny part,
down.
it had to be a small church or something like that, because you calling the secretary talking about some, hey, take my name off that list.
I have known her my whole life.
I know. That's why it's so
And
funny.
so she was checking on me too. So
Yes.
I mean, so it was like, and we talked, you know what I mean? So I
Yes.
like, we still talk to this
Yes.
day. She
Yes.
she was
Yes.
instrumental in me like becoming a teacher, all the things. And she was just like, no, no. Your, your daddy said your name needs to be on the list. You're on the list.
Oh God.
And it wasn't until my mom told him, like, okay, she's at home, she's had the
Oh
surgery,
yeah.
she's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
Then they took my name off the list. And that
I
was this school year.
I should
That was the
that's
school year.
Mr. Neighbors was amazing. I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, listen,
I mean,
we are
he's still though, to the point, like, when I call
yeah,
home, if I cough a little bit,
yeah,
you need me
yeah.
to drive out there? No. I mean, any little thing,
Oh my
if
God.
I if I say that I'm overwhelmed, I don't feel well,
Yeah.
you sure everything okay? You
Oh
telling me
my
the truth, right?
oh my
So
God.
it's, he's just still
I love
still
it.
daddy.
I
Yeah.
love it. I love it. Well, listen, we're so grateful for you to we know the battle is the Lord. You are one of his favorites. So it is finished. That's what he said. So it's just continue going through the process and just seeing God work on your behalf, man. I am so grateful for you trusting our platform to share your story. A lot of
Well,
people,
thank you.
a lot of people in the comments remember hearing your name. So to see the evidence of God, you know what I'm saying? It's just a continue, like I said, it fans our flame to know that God is faithful, you know what I'm saying? And
He is.
trusting him in the midst of it all. So I'm so thankful for you, friend. I'm gonna have to get to see you and hang out and hug you. Woo!
And you know how we do.
I know how we do. Listen, we still in the group chat talking about some. When are we getting together? When? Are,
Right.
but it's okay because it's nothing but love. We've been down for many, many years, 40 plus years.
Many
So
years.
it's
Yeah.
it's it's still more to come, friends. So again, thank you so much for blessing the dumping ground with your amazing testimony. And again, we pray nothing but blessings unlimited over your life, that you continue to tap into your assignment, your purpose, and making an impact wherever you go. And we thank you so much for this wonderful night. God bless you.
Thank you. God bless you.